The second part of that homework question, or the very last question actually on the mode, median, and mean measures of center homework, is to take that height data, bin it, and create a histogram, kind of a review question. Now, the important part of this here is we pay attention to what our intervals look like, and that is the fact that this has a bracket, meaning 60 is included. This has a parenthesis, meaning we don't include 62. So my first interval is going to go from 60, including 60, all the way up, but stop just short of 62. 62 is not included, which means for my first interval here, I have 5 people. My next interval will go from 62 up to, but not including 64, which means I have 3 people on there. My next interval will include 64 and 65, but stop short of 66, meaning I've got 8 people on that one. I'll run 66 and 67. As a reminder, bracket includes 66, parentheses don't include 68, which means I have 19 people on that. My next interval will have 21. Interval after that will have 14. Interval after that looks like I have 13. Interval after that looks like I have 18. Interval after that I've got 3, and then notice here that I actually skipped 78, and that's pretty important here. So far, all my numbers have been included, 62, 63, 64, 65, and so forth, which is good because I'm making sure that everything is in the interval I'm selecting. I don't have a 78, but that's okay. The interval is going to go from 78 up to, but not including 80, which means 79, only thing in there, there's only 1. Now I've got my counts. The next thing I need to do is go ahead and set up my histogram. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and clear some space over here. Now I've cleaned up some space and gotten my horizontal bar going across the bottom, it's time to go ahead and put my intervals on. Since my numbers run from 60 up to 80, there's really no need to start at 0, so I'll come over here on the far side, I'll go ahead and I'll put 60 here. Rather than count by ones, which we could totally do, I'm going to count by 2 since that's how wide my intervals are. So I'll go 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, and put 70 right there. And same thing here, 72, 4, 6, 8, and 80. Now, best practice is to actually have this extend a little bit further on each side. In reality, if you want to leave that off though, like I did, that is entirely okay. Now that I've got these, the next thing to realize is that my bars have really different heights. Like my highest bar is 21, my lowest is 1, which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that vertical bar on the side just to help me keep track a little bit better of what these are looking like. So I'll put my vertical here, and this is to keep track of the frequency. My lowest bar is 1, so I'll go ahead and I'll start this at height of 0, and I'm going to run it all the way up to, let's say, 25. I'm going to count by 5s here to make it a little easier. You could count by 1s if you wanted. So we'll do 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to go ahead and move that 25 down just a little bit to make it look a little better. Now I've got all this set up, the next thing to do is go ahead and draw my bars. My first bar is 5 tall, from 60 to 62. My next bar after that is 3 tall. The bar after that is going up to 8, so just short of 10. The bar after that is going all the way up to 19. And this is why I put that bar over on the side there to help me guide a little bit better. After the 19, my next bar is 21. So go a little bit higher still. After that, we're going to shrink down to 14. After that, shrink down to 13. Back up to 18. Down to 3. And finally, down to 1. Final thing I'm going to do is just clean it up a tad bit here, make my bars a little bit better. Not paying too much attention to it. Now the final part of this question was asking, is it right skewed, is it left skewed, is it symmetric? And to answer that, really all we need to look at here is what's going on with the shape of it. So if I go ahead and I trace this, overviewing it a little bit, I notice I've got like a bump here, right? Up this direction, here and down. And so looking at this, it's actually not that easy to tell exactly which way this is skewed. But we can tell basically off the bat that this is in fact bimodal, which is kind of helpful. It's got two different peaks on it. And then if I go ahead and I trace that shape out down here, I'm trying to get a better overview of it. In reality, it looks like it's probably roughly symmetric. It might have a slight skew on it, but I'm not really sure which side it's being drawn to. I mean, I've got a tail over here, but I've also got a tail over here, and these two peaks make it hard to see where the center is. Other than looking at the overall shape of it, another way I can figure out, well, is it symmetric? Is it left skewed? Is it right skewed? Is to go ahead and look at what the mean and the median were. In this case, my mean from the part above was 69.34, and my median was 69. Now what you're going to notice here is the mean and the median are approximately equal. They're about the same. And so what this tells me is that this is actually approximately symmetric. And I can tell that because, once again, the mean and the median are basically equal to each other. Now, in reality, this has a slight skew because they're not exactly equal to each other. And because the mean is bigger than the median, I know that in reality, that slight skew is actually dragging me to the right side. So this either has a slight right skew or it's about symmetric.